It's day 6 of those devastating fires that have taken such a toll across Los Angeles.
Breaking now at 11, 16 people confirmed dead in the California wildfires.
New wildfire just breaking out in Los Angeles County.
10 people are now confirmed to have been killed in Los Angeles' worst ever wildfires.
I've been attending webinars with climate scientists, public adjusters, and legal experts, because the truth is, while the headlines move on, the families in Altadena and the Palisades are just beginning their journey to recovery. I spoke with homeowners who lost everything in the fires. If you've been directly impacted, please know that our hearts are with you. Everyone in Los Angeles is thinking of you during this incredibly difficult time. Many of us know someone who has lost their home, and we want you to know you are seen, you are heard, and you are not alone. I'm Todd Kingsley, a real estate advisor here in LA. While I usually discuss home buying and selling, today I want to address something more significant. This video isn't about listings or open houses. It's about what I've learned from these conversations, what's happening on the ground, and what it means for our communities and our housing market. For those of you who don't live in LA and are considering moving here, this isn't just about lost homes. It's about the future of LA's real estate. Let's break down what happened and what it means for you. Let me walk you through what I've seen and heard. These weren't just fires, they were full-blown community crises. Entire neighborhoods in Altadena and the Palisades were devastated. Some homes were reduced to ashes, others remained standing but were filled with toxic smoke and ash, rendering them uninhabitable. Months later, many people still aren't home. For those with standing structures, the best case scenario is returning in a year, if cleanup, testing, and repairs proceed smoothly. But for families who lost everything, rebuilding could take 3 to 5 years, if they decide to rebuild at all. Their homes, their memories, their sense of safety, it's all gone. The emotional toll is as real as the physical loss. We're talking about people who lost not just a house, but wedding photos, baby books, the mug their child made in 3rd grade, irreplaceable items. This isn't just about property, it's about identity, history, and the long road back to stability. Now, what caused this and why it matters? Wildfires don't just happen out of nowhere. What we saw in January was a perfect storm of conditions that had been building for years. After several wet winters, LA experienced a surge in vegetation, lush green growth across the foothills and canyons. But then came a dry fall. That greenery turned into dry fuel, just waiting for a spark. Combine that with our infamous Santa Ana winds, hot, dry gusts reaching over 60 miles per hour, and it was like striking a match in a field of kindling. That's exactly what happened on January 7th, when the Palisades fires exploded into more than 5,000 acres. Evacuations swept through Malibu, Santa Monica, parts of Brentwood, and Topanga. In Altadena, another fire traced back to Southern California Edison torched homes in what felt like minutes. Now, I know not everyone watching this is from LA. Maybe you're thinking about moving here, or perhaps you're trying to understand what living here really means. So here's the truth. This is part of LA's reality now. These events aren't rare anymore, they're recurring. Homeownership in LA now comes with a new layer of consideration, fire risk. But it's not about panic, it's about preparation. Understanding how this happened is the first step in planning your future wisely here in Southern California. When you lose 12,000 homes in a matter of days, it sends shockwaves through the entire housing market. Before the fires, LA was already grappling with tight inventory with about 5% vacancy rate citywide, which is low. After January, that number dropped even further, practically overnight. Suddenly, families needed rentals, buyers sought alternatives, and entire neighborhoods were off the table. In areas like Santa Monica, Studio City, and South Pasadena, rents surged as displaced homeowners sought long-term leases. We're talking $20,000 to $40,000 a month in some luxury markets, and fierce competition for anything remotely livable. Homes that used to sit for weeks were gone in hours. Conversely, values in the hardest hit zones dropped, not because the properties aren't worth rebuilding, but because the uncertainty is too high. Will the rebuild take 3 years? 5? Will insurance cover it? Can you even get insured again? And yes, insurance is a whole conversation on its own. Carriers took massive losses, billions in claims and in responses. And we've seen premium hikes, reduced coverage, and outright denials. Even longtime policyholders are finding themselves dropped or priced out. The state had to step in with temporary protections, but this isn't going away anytime soon. Then there's the investor's angle. Some see opportunity. Fire damaged lots in premium areas are being scoped up by developers betting on future value. Now displaced homeowners are competing not just with renters, but with capital-backed buyers eyeing long-term plays. Bottom line, whether you're looking to buy, sell, rent, or rebuild, this isn't the same market it was in 2024, and it's not returning to normal anytime soon. Now, here's where it hits home a little bit more. This isn't just been something I've observed from the sidelines. On January 8th, 2025, just one day after the Palisades and Eaton fires broke out, the Sunset fires ignited in the Hollywood Hills. I was at the gym when I got the alert. My neighborhood was in the yellow evacuation zone, just 1 block away from the mandatory red zone. I rushed home, heart pounding, and immediately started packing. Let me tell you, it's a surreal experience trying to decide what to grab when you don't know if your home will still be standing tomorrow. I was running around like so many others have, grabbing important documents, chargers, some clothes, trying to stay calm, but feeling that rising panic in the back of my throat. I evacuated for the night, not knowing what I'd come back to. Thankfully, the fire was contained and my home was safe. But that night changed something for me. After seeing what happened in Altadena and the Palisades just 24 hours earlier, and now feeling that same uncertainty in my own neighborhood, I understood in a much deeper way what thousands of Angelenos were going through. It's one thing to watch the news. It's another to wonder if today's the day your street ends up on it. The skies weren't just smoky. They were apocalyptic. Ash falling like snow, the sun barely breaking through in the thick orange haze. It was like the city had gone quiet, holding its breath. In those first days after the fires, Los Angeles didn't feel like itself. But what stood out wasn't just the devastation, it was the people. Donation centers started popping up almost overnight. Neighborhoods took in evacuees. Volunteers passed out food, water, masks, even toys for kids who had just lost everything. The way this city showed up for each other, it was powerful. And it's still happening. There are GoFundMes raising hundreds of thousands of dollars, local businesses donating materials, entire communities organizing to make sure no one's forgotten in the rebuild. But it's also important to be honest. Most people didn't have enough coverage. Not because they did something wrong, but because the cost to rebuild in LA has skyrocketed and insurance policies haven't kept up. I've talked to homeowners who thought they were protected, only to find out that their policy covers maybe half of what they'll actually need. So while rebuilding is happening, it's going to be slow, painfully slow for some. And that's where the city's resilience really shows. People are leaning on each other, sharing resources, offering second bedrooms and guest houses. Because here in LA, when disaster hits, we don't wait for a hero, we become one for each other. So where does LA go from here? Honestly, That's still being written, but some early shifts are already happening. Buyers are asking new questions about defensible space, fire history, evacuation routes, and insurance. Risk is now part of the conversation in every hillside or canyon property. And honestly, that's a good thing. It means people are thinking long-term. On the construction side, there's growing interest in fire-resistant materials and smarter design. In places like Altadena and the Palisades, those rebuilds may shape how we build across LA going forward. But it's still early. Permits, cleanup, insurance. There's a long road ahead. As a real estate advisor, I'm adjusting too. Whether you're buying, selling, or just staying informed, part of my job now is helping clients navigate risk without feeling overwhelmed. That means walking you through fire zone maps, explaining insurance shifts, and connecting you with local pros, inspectors, fire mitigation consultants, you name it. Because LA isn't going anywhere, and neither are the people who love living here. But we are evolving. So if you're thinking about making a move, whether you're coming in or relocating within, you want someone who understands what the landscape looks like now, not just what it looks like last year. Now that you've seen what I saw and what's still unfolding, how does this shift your thinking? Is fire risk something you're seriously considering in your next move? Or do you feel it's just the price of paradise in Southern California? Drop a comment. I want to hear your take, not just as your local real estate advisor, but as someone who lives here too. And if you're planning a move, let's connect. Whether you're relocating across LA or exploring your options after all of this change, I'm here to help you navigate smartly, safely, and confidently. And hey, if you're in the market, grab my free guide, How to Buy Smart and Avoid Costly Mistakes. It's full of insights to help you ask the right questions and avoid the wrong assumptions. Links in the description, or just scan the QR code on the screen. If this video brought you some clarity, give a like, hit subscribe, and turn on those notifications. I've got more content coming that you won't want to miss. Until then, stay safe, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.